Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of the Grandstand here on the Hot Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm as always your host here, the Hot Patriot, and for today's episode, we are going to talk about how 273 days of hell is finally over, because the dickhead that used to live behind me, as of this morning, was evicted, and I was finally able to get a good night's sleep here throughout the day is what it was, so... yeah. Yay. Obviously, I'm not more thrilled because I know that probably in the next couple of days, there'll be somebody else that moves in there now is what it is, and it might be a whole other thing over again, but this time around, I'm definitely going to be ready for it, and I'm going to be basically more in tune with this person, basically is what it'll be. So... I don't know if it'll be like right away here in January, if it'll be like maybe like mid-January or something by the time it's rented out, maybe February or something. But yeah, basically it'll be whenever this new person moves in over there, then I'm going to basically go over there and be like, hey, I'm your neighbor from, such and such, like, just to let you know, there's a shared wall right there. Anything you do over here, if you do it loudly enough, I can hear you. Same with my side, obviously. And this, by the way, this is going to be the last day we're going to have the little stickies up here, because tomorrow for New Year's Eve, my plan is basically going to be, I got a power strip the other day from Wally World, and I'm going to take all these down as what it'll be. And I'm not sure if I want to put up the soundproof panels, because they're really going to do anything or not, honestly. Or if it would maybe be just like, maybe I'll just give some of them away to the person that moves in there before I move out of here is what it'll be. And see if they want to put them up for something for the new person that's coming after me is what it'll be then. So, but yeah, my plan right now is whoever moves in there, I'm basically going to be like, hey, this is who I am, this is what the deal is. And just straight up tell them about the streams and stuff like that. Be like, just to let you know, Tuesdays are a given for streaming after quiet hours. Sundays are a possibility too, and just tell them that is what it'll be, and tell them what the deal is, and be like, just let you know, like, I'm gonna try to keep it quiet, but if it can't be kept quiet, it's whatever then. So I think maybe I will try to put like from like where the lamp is right here, maybe go like right here, and then go to like right about here. I think maybe just put up like half a dozen or so, and just take little T things and put them in there as what it'll be. So that way it'll be like able to soundproof at least, or try to soundproof at least that little piece is what it is there. So, but yeah, so basically, this morning about 2:30, or just before 2:30, I heard dipshit used to live there. I don't know if he had like a buddy come over or what it was, but somebody was moving out. It sounded like either a bed or a couch or something out the door, and like dragging it out to his vehicle or their vehicle or whatever it was then. So that obviously pissed me off quite a bit, because it's like you couldn't just wait until the AM when there's actual light, dude. But it also kind of makes me, it seriously does make me wonder if that guy wasn't doing some really shitty shit over there, like drug related stuff or whatever, because it would make more logical sense if what he was actually dragging out was like some kind of like a grow thing, whether it be for weed or whether it be for mushrooms or whatever the case be. And of course that would be something you want to, have the cover of darkness to remove, versus, if it was something like legal, like why wouldn't you just wait until sunrise or whatever then? And then if they're going to kick you out, like, okay, cool, like, I'll be out in about 10 minutes is what it'll be then, and I'll just, you grab the stuff, that's what it'll be or whatever. So, I don't know. I'm actually low-key angry how this all ended, to be honest with you guys, just because I really wanted to start county sheriff's office to beat the fuck out of that guy this morning. Is what it was. Like after everything he's put me through for the past, 8 months of my life, 273 days of my life here. Actually, I guess it'd be technically more like 9 months now. But yeah, about 9 months of my life. Like, I just really wanted to see him catch a beating, is what it was. So, although to be fair, I don't know where he's at now here, and he might not even be in this county anymore for that matter. I'm sure he's still in the state of Ohio, obviously. Probably sleeping on a buddy's couch or something, I guess. So who's to say if he's not going to piss somebody else off in the next couple of days or like a week or something like that? I'm going to look at the fucking news and it'll be like, oh yeah, Don Jones dead of 51, whatever it is. Dead after being shot by a friend or whatever it is, or a former friend or something like that. It'll be. So, I mean, I know he's pissed off enough people. So I wouldn't be surprised in the least if he's going to cross the wrong person here in the next couple of months, honestly, and just end up dead in his early 50s, honestly. But who knows? I'm not sure if it's the weather change from last night into today or what it is. I have a slight sore throat right now is what it is. So I'm probably going to take some lozenges here in a little bit after I finish this stream. See if that doesn't take it out. I'm wondering if, because I drank a little bit of milk yesterday, and then I also had some dip with my chips is what it was. So I'm half wondering if it wasn't the lactose there that's like causing me to have like throat issues or whatever. Although it could be salt too, for that matter. Like scripted or whatever. Then I would say it would be whatever the flu or whatever's going around now is what it is. Maybe the onset of that stuff. But then it's like, except I haven't actually been in contact with anybody except my cousin in the past week. I know he wasn't sick. I know I wasn't sick. And the fact that it would just start now is kind of weird. I know my sister has something now because her boyfriend, dude, when they were hanging out for Christmas, he apparently had just gotten over his illness, but he was still a carrier, I guess. And whenever he had to give it to her, she thought it was COVID. I said, I think it's the super flu stuff that's going around. And I sent her a link yesterday of what it was like high fever and like all this other stuff. It was basically similar to what the COVID symptoms would be essentially. So I think that's what she has. But I don't think I have anything is what it is. I think it's just, whatever, like dietary stuff, or maybe how I was sleeping in the chair. Then if that'd be the case, maybe I was like weirdly snoring or something. Because that's probably we get like deep REM sleep for the first time in like literally like 250 plus fucking days is what it is. So yeah, I don't know, man. One thing I will say though is I'm definitely moving out of this place when my lease is up. Like I'm really hoping to find a place by the end of March is what it will be, because I'm supposed to be out. I think it's March 30th was what it would be. I have to move to a different place, and this will be that day. So unless I can talk I know the landlord, after your initial year lease is up, you can go month to month and stuff, but I just don't want it to be something where it's like, okay, I'll stay for another month, but it's going to be like, $200 more than I'm paying now or something crazy like that I can afford. But knowing him and knowing like everything I've been, that really honest everything I've been put through, he should just give me a fucking free month at this point after the fact. So, but yeah, he apparently had his helper guy over there today, is what it was. So I'm not sure if that would have been Aaron that still works for him, or if it was somebody else then. But apparently that individual was cleaning the place up today, is what it was. So I'm guessing it would be something with them trying to get it back on the market as soon as possible if it's still rent worthy or whatever. They'll have to do anything to it or whatever then. And then that way they could basically get like a January renter maybe or something like that if that'd be the case, which I have no problem with. My issue right now is just, it'd be nice to have like 3 or 4 days, honestly, maybe a week, with nobody in there. So I have like just, don't got to deal with doing low streams like this or whatever. And then I can actually speak at real volume as what it'd be then. My ideal place to move to obviously would be like a 1 or 2 bedroom rental. It would be like a rent-own kind of situation or whatever for a house. But I know that's never going to happen because all those are like anywhere from like $1,000 to like $1,500 or something crazy like that. And there's no way I can afford that, obviously. I found a couple different places that are in like the North Canton area right now, but even those places that are like a mix between apartments and like townhouses are like, because I want to say there's about, I'm trying to think now, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. I think there's about 32 rentals in these places because it's obviously like 7 little like houses. They were divided into 4 apartments. It would be then. So I think it's like 32 is what it would be then here. It might be 36 actually. There might be an 8th one down there at the very end. So it's like 32 or 36, something like that's what it'll be. Or wait, say either no. Well, no, so it would be like, yeah, it would be like 32 if there would be a 9th one. There's 36 then. Sorry, my brain is not functioning properly today. Gee, I wonder why. Again, 273 days of hell. But no, seriously though, yeah, I think it's like 32 or so that are here for this place, and it's just like a whole mess right now. I would do that, but drinking anything right now for some reason the side of my tooth is hurting on this side. So I don't know if it's like a cavity or something I got going on or what's going on there. So yeah, just sucks. Probably had too much sugar or something this month. I know I've gained a bunch of weight too. I need to look. I really need to get on the scale here in a little bit and see how much I've actually gained, because I feel like I've definitely gained like quite a bit of weight, because the chair now is like making like weird creaks when I flip the switch to go back on now, which is definitely not good. Because only this fucker breaking down on me is what it would be then. But anyway, so. But yeah, I looked into a couple different places that are available now, but who's to say they're going to be available come the end of March is what it'll be. So, and then basically from there would be the big thing living here right now. If I could do like a month to month for like 2 months is what it would be, and hopefully the similar price or same price basically that I'm paying right now for this year lease. That would be excellent, because then I could be able to go get my ID changed over finally, vote here in the primary, and then move out after the fact or whatever, which I think technically I would maybe only need like an extra month, because then it would be because if I do like early voting or whatever, if I moved after that, then I think my vote technically still counts as what it would be. So like if I stay here through like April and then early voted at like mid-April or something like that, whatever the early voting starts then. At the county place, I think it would basically work that way. Because it's either that or it's going to be, I would have to move out like right away pretty much. Move into a new place there, and then be, come April, like basically have a guaranteed like bill coming to my place or whatever that I could then take to the DMV place, so then they could change my ID over to what it would be then to this place is what it is then that I would move into then. And then that way I'd be able to have enough time to where I could then update my address again with the Secretary of State's office and be able to vote come May primary, because there's no way missing out on May primary is what it is. We have to defeat that piece of shit Vivek, period, in the story, dude. That guy's a fucking scumbag, sack of crap in general. And what was interesting was, switch topics for a sec here, to go to Vivek for a minute. apparently he was hanging out with Vance. I don't know if they were at the White House or where it was at, but he took one of his little bastard kids with him there, is what it was. And of course, I don't know if it was him or it was the kid or somebody was like poking fun at the fact that this kid basically like did some sneaky kid shit to go steal another fucking cookie, is what it was. And then of course everybody's making a big deal about it because Vivek's made his children into this weird like shield now, instead of just like being like, hey, I'm a dude, I'm gonna run for office or whatever, and just like, you know, set his family aside kind of situation. It's like, oh no, let me bring my family in here to like be human shields for me against criticism, and then that's basically him trying to use his kids against being criticized, and everybody's like, no, fuck that, dude, you brought these kids in here like criticizing your ass anyway, and we'll criticize them too, is what it is. And it was this morning I actually found a post, because that dickhead keeping me up this morning, is what it was, where I don't know where this count originated from on X, is what it was, if it was from India, if it was from the United States, where it was from. But this person was directly calling for the murder of white people, is what it was. And I directly reported to the FBI at that point. It was within maybe 5 minutes of that. Somebody else had just popped him for like breaking the rules of the site, is what it was then. Because I forget exactly how they said it. It was something about like, it said something about like white nationalism, I think is what it was. But it was really them just being anti-white racist, is what it was. And they were basically just saying like, you know, pop a bullet into the people's heads, is what it was then essentially. So, but yeah, it was just so fucked up, dude. And I'm like, y'all got some serious issues there, people. And yeah, the feds need to track that account down if it exists here in the US and like arrest that person for terrorism, is what it is then. Because you're obviously trying to genocide whites, is what it is then, you sick fucks. And it's not as if white people don't already have like a genocidal thing going on, because we're only 8% of the entire world population right now, when we used to be like anywhere from like 45 to like 65, like within the last 50 years or something. So that shows you how many have been genocided, you know, worldwide and stuff like that. So I really, like, honestly, I really wish Elon Musk would just do what he did a few weeks back now and just be like, hey, we're going to turn on this feature and show where every single account on the site originates from, is what it is, country-wise. Because at least then we could have people like myself that are Americans go on our accounts and be like, you know what, fuck you, India. Like, you're not part of America. You have no fucking claim to do anything here, dude. You're just trying to election interfere, is what it is there. Because the fact of the matter is, like, what these people are doing, if they're originating from other countries, they are doing election interference, dude, at this point. It's 100% election interference with various political elections here in the United States. And it's like, you don't see us going over there and interfering in their fucking elections and stuff and trying to elect some dude in their fucking shithole nation, is what it is, or whatever. So, yeah, it's like, stay the fuck out of our local races then too, dick smokes. But, anyway. So, like, that got me really, you know, perturbed this morning, obviously. But, hope you guys liked the new, Don't Tread on Me hat that I picked up the other day. So, yeah, I'm probably going to wear this one come Friday for the big announcement of who myself and the rest of the network are backing for the Ohio Republican primary for governor next year. So, I think you guys kind of already know who it's going to be, but obviously it's not Vivek, just to be clear on that one. I think y'all know who his opponents are right now and who stands the most chance of winning, I think is what it is, against him. And has been making waves since he announced his candidacy a few weeks ago. Here is what it is, but I'll just throw out those hints is what it is. you can make it up yourself right now, and we'll just talk about it in 3 days is what it is then, for real. But anyways, so yeah, basically, what I figured out last night into this morning with the dickhead who finally got evicted this morning. Of the 273 days that I've been here, it was anywhere between 75 and 80 days that this asshole kept me awake after quiet hours. And yet in that time, I only ever called the cops on him 4 times. And of those 4 times, I believe only 3 times were for actual noise complaints. The 4th time was when he stole my power out there back in, I think that was May or June, which I am pissed at myself thinking back now because I forgot that my cameras, after 60 days, it automatically erased the footage and stuff like that. I don't think I got the footage from that day downloaded. So that's basically gone on forever, and that's why I can't remember exactly when it was. I think it was June, though, is when that happened. I want to say like early to mid-June or something. So, which truthfully, and that's what kind of pissed me off, the landlord here is what it is, because like as soon as that happened, that right there should have been an immediate eviction thing, because even looking through my lease and stuff like that, like it specifically states stuff in there about like, hey, if you're swiping utilities from one of your neighbors, like you're gone immediately. So the fact that he wasn't gone immediately from that, like just bullshit in general. And the fact that I had to put up with, 6 months of psychological noise after the fact is just ridiculousness is what it is then. Which I think the only reason that the landlord finally did evict him was because he found out he was stealing people's packages and stuff like that. Which if I had said something to him then, because I know for a fact, like this, there's no way that motherfucker didn't steal my package back in like May or whatever it was that came. Because it got misdelivered to his doorstep is what it was. Which is so stupid because the things that were in there, I think it was like 3 or 4 different things. And only one of the things he actually could have even used because it was like the sanitizing shampoo stuff you can get for people. And I got some of that because there was like, times where obviously I can't, because of my back and stuff, I'm not going to get in the shower every single day is what it is there. And, there's a day or 2 here and there that I will use some of that is what it is then to keep myself clean. But yeah, it was like that, like a holster and like some other stuff is what it was. So it's like 90% of the shit was for like people like me is what it was. So, but yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy just sold half the shit in that off for like beer money or something. That's what it was then or something. So he seemed like a pretty big alcoholic in general. It seemed like, and I honestly think the more he drank, the louder he seemed to get. Honestly. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he was doing drugs over there, too, for that matter, just because it seemed like this dude was up for like several days in a row sometimes. So I don't know if he was doing like crack or crystal meth or what it would have been then to keep himself awake for like days on end. So I'm also still confused on how the fuck he was paying rent then, if that'd be the case, because it seemed to me like this dude had no bank account at all. And like I know for a fact when I talked to the other neighbor guy in the opposite unit across from him is what it was there. He specifically told me about, and this was obviously the day before I got him jacking my power out there that day. And it was him taking that dude to, I think it was a Verizon store around here to pay some bills and stuff like that. That's what it was, and cash his disability check is what it was then. And so I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, so how the fuck was this guy paying rent then? Like, did he have like a family member that was like sending checks in to the landlord? Did he make some retarded thing with the landlord where he was just like giving like his assistant like the cash every month or something? Like, it made no sense, honestly. Because I guarantee he wasn't Venmoing him the money is what it was then. So, or maybe he was though, actually. I don't know. Maybe somebody else had a Venmo account and he just would hand them the money or something like that. What it was then, or who the fuck knows? I don't know. Just weird either way. But yeah, I don't know. Either way, he was somehow paying the rent is what it was. But as far as I'm aware, anyway. But yeah, so at least he's gone now is what it is, and hopefully he's not coming back is what it'll be then, because when I say not coming back, obviously what I mean is like, if I hear like my door being like trying to be jarred into or my window being jarred into, it's going to be Bang Bang City is what it'll be then. So, which I don't think he'd be able to blame me at this point. Like, if he's going to blame anybody, he's going to blame the landlord for evicting him then, because, which really he's going to blame himself, is what it should be at the end of the day, because it's his own fault is what it'll be then, because he could have just not been a dickhead for, 6 months is what it is, and he would still be here is what it would be then. Could have not been a thief piece of shit, stealing people's power and packages, and he'd still be here is what it is then. And then, I don't know if I told you guys that or not before, but like, oh my god, bro. I swear to God, this fucker had like the most audacity ever. Because I know it was him. I'm going to go ahead and grab my phone out so you guys can see the videos it'll be then. Because this is from last Tuesday. Because I was asleep here in the chair that afternoon. And it was, I think, about 2:30 or so last Tuesday. PM, obviously. Let me see if I can find it here now. Okay, that would have been... Okay, this is from last Tuesday. Oh wait, is that Tuesday, Thursday? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago. No, it was 2 weeks ago. That's right. Yeah, it wasn't last Tuesday. It would have been the 16th. Is what it would have been. So I am mistaken in the date. So let's see here. Oh, no, I guess it was wrong. Yep, no, it was the 16th. Okay, so this happened at, where are we at now? 2:26 p.m. on my thing, so it would have been 2:25 p.m. Then is what it was. When you had this jackass dancing outside my door, fooling around. And then it would have been the 18th when I went out to get my mail done on Thursday and came to find out that my light bulb outside, my porch light, was missing. So what I think happened was that this cocksucker got a burned out light in his apartment, and instead of just going to a fucking Walmart or any place else for that matter that sells light bulbs and buying one, he proceeded to come over and knock on my door, expecting me to give him one. And then when I did not answer after like a minute, because I'm not going to answer right away if I'm fucking asleep, because I was asleep at the time, and he woke me out of a dead sleep, is what it was then. When I finally did get up to go check it out a couple minutes later, he had been gone already. I'm pretty sure he just literally looked at the light bulb in the fucking porch light and was like, screw, I'll just take this one. So it's like, what a complete fucking cunt, dude. Seriously. Like, what a complete shitbag. It's like, you stole my Amazon package, you stole my electricity, and then you stole my light bulb. Like, fuck you, dude. You petty thief piece of shit. Like, seriously, who the fuck steals somebody's porch light, dude? It's like stealing somebody's American flag outside their apartment door or whatever, dude. Like, you're just a piece of shit in general. So, it's so hard not to hate people, dude. And let's be for real. When I say people, I mean ends. So, anyway. But yeah, it's just ridiculous what it is, man. But yeah, so basically that's where we're at right now. He's gone, thankfully. I'm still here for the time being. and will be until my lease runs out at the end of March is what it is. And then who knows if somebody's going to move in a couple of days or not. But during this time, obviously tomorrow, I will be, like I said, if I'm taking out the sticky things, I'll be plugging in my power strip in one of the outlets here. And then I'll be taking the, my, what do you call it now? My hair dryer, and trying to use the heat from that to get rid of the stickiness on the tabs that it is here. And I'm probably going to pull out a little little pry bar thing too that I have on the table here. Because that's what I was using to get the rest of them off that were over here. And then I think there was a couple over on the other side too, as well as there. Because there's about twice as many as are here right now is what it is. But yeah, that pry bar alone took to try and scrape them off, because the way that whoever painted this wall is a fucking idiot, basically. I'm just gonna say it like it is. I don't know if that was a landlord or if it was like some helper person of his or what it was. Because what you're supposed to do when you're painting a wall is you're supposed to put down a binder coat is what it is then. And then you're supposed to put down the actual coat of paint after that is what it is then. And the reason you put the binder coat on first is because then it binds to the actual paint that you're painting over is what it is then. And allows it to not basically create bubbles and like pull up and stuff like that, or like rip off the, paint is what it is there. But apparently whoever painted this didn't bother doing that step. And so when I was trying to remove some of the shit, here's what it is then. It's specifically over here someplace. You can still see like some marks and indents and stuff like that where it like started to bubble out, and I'd like push it back in. So I created like weird markage, which I'm not going to be held responsible for because that was not my fault. It was whoever the fuck put the shit up, and really it was whoever put this fucking wall up entirely and didn't bother putting insulation or any kind of material in between the damn walls to where it would actually stop any kind of sound coming through to different apartments that it is then. So it was like a double blame on that one. But yeah, basically the reason I was taking like 4 hours to pry up like 30 or 40 of these things is because I had to sit there and like stop it from being able to pop up. And like every time it kind of tried to pop up a little bit, I did it different ways what it was then, so I could get it to pry off a little bit more. So yeah, it's just a pain in the ass to do it that way. Versus if I have a heat gun slash what do you call it now? Hair dryer. Sorry, I might figure that out again. Again, my mind is so everywhere else right now is what it is. Yeah, because actually a hair dryer, I could potentially get it to come loose and get the adhesive off there, so it'll be then next day or so is what it is. Hopefully within like 20, 30 minutes, honestly. And then just be able to, pop them all off real quick and then have that all gone is what it'll be then. And then maybe after that, think about maybe putting up like a couple panels or something like that is what it'll be then. That I could easily then remove when I move out of what it is then and take with me. So I don't know. I'm debating right now how I want to do things, but yeah, it's just a pain in the ass either way at this point, and I don't know. I just really hate that motherfucker that moved out. That was what it is, dude. Like, that's the thing. If you're gonna fuck with my life for like almost 300 days of it, dude, like, you're an enemy for life. End of story. Like, I am never letting that go. I will hold that grudge until I'm like 60, honestly. I was actually figuring that out recently because of the autism and stuff like that. Like how I don't let grudges go is what it is. And I was thinking back to the time I was at this place when I was living in Columbus. It was either 2009 or 2010. I want to say it was after one of the like pro tours that was there. Maybe it was like a Grand Prix or something that was there at the convention center. And it was my then acquaintance. Like I never really considered Sam a friend. I considered him more of an acquaintance than it was there. Because we never got to be friendly enough to where I would consider us like friends. Like, it's not somebody like, that's the thing. For me with friends, like, it would be somebody I would call to be like, hey man, I'm in jail. I need you to, get the money and bail me out or whatever the case, and I'll get it back to you, kind of thing. Like that's what I consider a real friend is what it would be then. Versus other friends where it's like, they'll send you a package here and there, and you'll send them a package here and there, and you're good buddies like that or whatever. And then you have acquaintances, which are people more like Sam Stoddard, who I used to know. For those who know who Sam Stoddard is, he basically, I don't know if he still works for Magic the Gathering or not as a developer, but he did work for them at one point, is what it was there. And this was basically right before he started working for them. He was living down in Columbus there, and I was also going to school down there at the same time as what it was. And I forget how, I'm trying to remember. I remember I met this kid. I'm trying to recall now. I know I met this kid named Isaac down there. And I can't remember if he was friends with Sam, and that's how I became acquainted with Sam, is what it was. Or if it was the other way around, maybe, where it was he knew Isaac, and then I met Sam first, and then I met Isaac after. I think maybe that's what it was or something, but that's what it was. It was Ruben Bresler also lived down there, and so did Adam Yurchek at the time. I interviewed Yurchek, and I think he was friends. It was either him or Bresler or friends with Sam Stoddard, who was there. And it was after I had talked to Bresler, I think is what it was when I had met Sam then. And then it was me and him and a couple other people and stuff like that were all hanging out one day. But yeah, basically what happened was, I forget if it was a Pro Tour, it was a Grand Prix that was down there. But basically, and I'm going to try to bring the place up if I can right now, because I'll just go to Convention Center images. Can we go Street View on this? Street View. Hang on, I'm trying to bring this bitch up right now. See if I can actually do the Street View on here, is what it is. Because I really do want to have this like directly as what it is then. Just so we can do the Street View on this. Because it'll make sense when I have the what was I gonna say? Yeah, when I show the reverses, it'll be here. So yeah, I don't know if that place is still there or not now that I'm looking at it here. Because I'm not seeing any kind of eatery that would be the one that we want to. Basically, okay, I'll just tell the story. That's what it is. So we were at the convention center. We had left the convention center. I know Sam was giving me a ride home that night is what it was, because I didn't have a vehicle at the time, and the buses stopped running, obviously, at that time. And he was like, hey, you want to do something to eat before we leave or whatever? And I was like, yeah, that's fine. Where do you want to go? Because I believe it was just the two of us at the time, or whatever. Or maybe there was like a third person that he knew or something is what it was that was going to come along with us. So it would have been like a 3-man crew essentially. And then from there, 3 people turned into 4 to 5 people for some reason. Because I think it was like that dude's buddies wanted to come along too then or whatever. And I was like, okay, that's fine. And then all of a sudden it was like 3 more people joined us, and I'm just like, what the fuck is this, dude? So basically we went to this place that was like a pub that I believe where the convention center sits over here. And it was just like walking across the street and up a little bit. And it was like this little pub that was like a hole in the wall, like little shit box, basically, is what I'm going to call it. Because it was just fucking, I think it was like an original place that was there from like the 10s or whatever then that just never got changed. And yeah, like it was just this super teeny little hole in the wall like pub place that was maybe like I think a half hour, 45 minutes from closing or something like that it was there. And so we got there like really late at night, right when they were about to close basically. And or not far from closing is what it was. To where I think I'm not so sure they didn't have to turn back on the fryers for us. That's what it was then. But yeah, it was just a real pain in the ass what it was. But anyway, so basically what happened was I think there was like 2 waitresses, but like it seemed like one didn't really want to do her job as it was. So you basically had like one waitress doing like everybody's tables. And then the worst thing was, so instead of it just being like me, Sam, and his buddy sitting at like one place and being, you know, a party, all of a sudden it was 8 people of us for a party, which I did not know at the time that because of that bullshit, anything over a 6 top, this fucking place considered an automatic X amount of gratuity is what it was then in the check, which is absolute bullshit to me in general, because if you're doing a half-assed job of serving me, why the fuck should I pay you a goddamn dime automatically, number one? And then number two, I don't care how big the fucking party is, especially if I'm not part of that bigger party. I'm just one man who wants to be really wants to be alone and eat myself is what it is, the fucking booth or something over there is what it is, man. Why the fuck should I have to pay for that automatic gratuity is what it is there, right? So really what this whole thing comes about is I was watching, I think it was that Lindy Glenn woman the other day, and she was talking about tipping culture being out of control and stuff like that, and it brought up this memory from about 15 years ago, give or take now. And yeah, it was basically, we went to this little pub, and ended up being 8 of us sitting together at a table then, where it was myself, Sam, his friend. I'm trying to remember if it was his buddy Cranny or not. I can't remember if it was Matt Cranstuber or not there. I think maybe it was. So it was like the 3 of us, and then it would have been, I want to say the girl's name was like Lauren Chan, something like that, who used to write for Magic. I want to say she was maybe a developer for MTG at one point. Like she was like this really short little Asian girl from like China or something is what it was there. I want to say her name was Lauren, but I can't remember offhand if that's what it was or not. But yeah, it was like her and like 3 or 4 of her buddies is what it was that joined us basically. So it was 8 people in general. And then from that, you end up having, it was maybe like within like 5 minutes of us walking in, there was like 2 or 3 other tables of people that walked in then from the convention center too, because they realized that place was also open still. And so it was basically, you had a bartender, I want to say 2 waitresses, but only one was really doing her job, and that was the one that was serving us, and then serving everybody else too, is what it seemed like. And then like the other chick was basically acting as like a food runner or something, as what it was then. And so that, first off, that place was way overpriced for what it was, because even back, 15 years ago or so, I want to say I'd gotten like a thing of like chicken tenders and fries, and it was legitimately like 4 tenders on a fucking plate or something like that, and maybe like a fistful of fries, and it was like almost $20 for that fucking meal, like 15 years ago, which now would probably be like $35-$40, honestly, given crazy psychotic inflation and stuff like that from all these places. But yeah, at that point it was like at least like $20 or so or something like that, which I didn't have a whole lot of cash on me at the time, what it was, and I didn't have any credit cards either for that matter. But yeah, it was basically, I had like very little cash on me. And so it ended up being a situation where, because of that automatic gratuity bullshit, it basically, I think I had like, I want to say I maybe had like $30-ish on me or something like that. And it ended up being, because of the automatic gratuity they threw in there, it was like $28 or something crazy like that. They ended up having to pay for that meal. Which, like I said, really pisses me off to this day, honestly, because any place that does automatic gratuity, well, first off, I think what pissed me off the most about the whole thing is that they didn't bother telling us it was going to be that. Like they didn't inform us till after the fact, because I think I had gotten into it with her, the waitress after the fact, or whatever the case be. Because I'm like, what is this shit? And she's like, oh, it's because you guys were such a big table or whatever. And I'm like, why didn't you tell us that to begin with? Because really, it's just me, him, and this dude that are together here, and it was these 5 people that could have been a different table, obviously. So obviously I didn't take anything off of that, but yeah, it just became a whole thing is what it was, and just it really irritated the fuck out of me for the rest of the night and then the next couple of days, obviously. But yeah, and then too, like that place was serving us mediocre food. It was mediocre food. I believe the entire time that we were there, which is over an hour, I maybe got like 1 refill. Oh, and that was another thing too. So they also didn't inform us that shit, where, because you would think most places they would tell you, like, if they're not like, you know, free refills or whatever the case be, or would say on their menus they're not free refills or whatever the case be. They didn't say shit about that. So I ended up getting, I think it was like 2 or 3 drinks that were sodas, obviously. And they were literally charging me for every single one. And I'm like, that's some bullshit, dude. I think maybe they did take off one of those as what it wasn't or something. Just to like appease me or something. But I can't remember offhand. It's been so long. Like I said, about a decade and a half ago this happened. So, but yeah, it was so fucked up, dude. And it's like, yeah, if you're going to be that kind of a place, then tell these people that, man. Like, tell them, like, hey, it's per, like, we don't have a soda fountain. We got to take a set of cans or something like that. It's per can or whatever then that you're charging us for. So it was just fucked up in general. And as it was, it took them forever to give me the fucking drink is what it was, dude. So, like I said, I'm not even sure if that place still exists, honestly, as a restaurant down there. Like, it may have gone out of business during the lockdowns instead of 2020 for all the fuck I know. Because looking at the different maps now, I can't even find it on there. Because it should say something. It was supposed to be like some kind of an Irish pub up there, if I'm not mistaken. So, but yeah, it was a bad deal all the way around, man. And that was the only time I ever ate there. I've even told people that since then. Like in the years since, I was like, yeah, I'll never go there again. Those people are fucking scumbags, et cetera, et cetera. And then what was even more of a scumbag thing was, on top of the fact that they already put the automatic gratuity of like 8, and that was what pissed me off the most, I think, honestly, because it was 18% automatic gratuity, and it's like, first of all, you did like a 4% job here. Why the fuck would I give you 18% of a tip here? Is what it is, bitch. And then they try to put a secondary line in there for another tip on top of everything else. And I'm just like, why the fuck would I tip you twice for being a shit server? Is what it is. So, but yeah, needless to say, I was really pissed. And I think even a couple other people were kind of irritated too about the 18% as well. So, but yeah, they're like, there's nothing we can do about it. And it's like, the fuck you can't. So, but yeah. So anyway, because yeah, if I had known that shit, I would have just been like, nah, bro, like just take me home. I'll grab a fucking TV dinner out of my freezer and eat that for the night or something. Because I know I had food back in my place is what it was. Actually, the one time I went home down there to the apartment that I was living in, which was a studio apartment, which actually wasn't much bigger than this place. Or actually, I think this place is maybe just slightly bigger than that place was. Like by 1 room or something is what it is there. But yeah, a little studio apartment I lived in there for a year between 2009 and 2010. So yeah, this would have been 2009, then is what it was. So yeah, so it would have been a pro tour thing, I think is what it was then or something. But anyway, so yeah, so basically it was just a real shit show there and just sucked in general, and yeah, it's very not fun basically. I remember the one time I had gone back to my place, I ended up throwing in, I had a crock pot down there, I threw a bunch of wings and some sauce into them is what it was there. And just let that shit simmer all day is what it was. I think maybe I put like a little bit of water in there too as well or something. Just so they wouldn't like burn up basically. And threw them on a low cook for the entire time I was at the event there. And when I got home that night, I was so hungry, but I went over there, I just like scooped out a thing, threw them into the into my bowl, and oh my god, those were so fucking good. That's because they were all charry and stuff, and like nice and cooked and everything, and yeah, just so good, man. But then again, when you haven't eaten all day, like except for like a protein bar or something, like of course you're gonna be hungry as hell. So that could be why it was so good. But, and it was also a hot meal too, for that matter. So, yes, it is. I'm pretty sure it's also illegal. But yeah, like, and that's the problem I have with automatic gratuity in general. Any place, it's basically legalized extortion at this point. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe America is like the only country that actually does like tipping bullshit, because every other country actually pays their fucking employees a living wage, is what it is, which is what we need to be forcing through here in America too, for that matter. It is not only living wage, but like cost of living increases and stuff like that's what it is there. And really cutting down on that crony capitalism or corporate greed is what it is there. So, but until it all changes, nothing's really gonna be any different. So, you know, it is what it is for now. But yeah, I don't really see us as a society voting our way out of the problems now. Right now is what it is. I think it's got to go straight to the cartridge box at this point and be some kind of a civil war event, race war, holy war, whatever you want to call it there, because I think that's probably going to happen by 2030, honestly, or so, give or take. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised in the least if we started seeing like interracial violence ramp up in the next couple of years, obviously, leading up to something even worse then. So, but yeah, anyway. But that being said, my stomach is growling right now because I am hungry and I haven't eaten all day. So I think my plan right now is I'm going to go throw in some couple frozen chicken patties into the air fryer and have those and probably some curly fries for dinner. I'll tell you what, I heard. I went to Walmart the other day with my cousin. I ended up picking up some of the Great Value curly fries there. I wish I'd have grabbed more in one bag, dude, because I ate some of those the other day, and holy shit, those are fucking good. Like, they are perfect, pretty much. Like, just throw them in the air fryer for, like, I think it's like 15 minutes or something at, like, 360, I think is what their directions are. And they came out, like, pretty much golden crispy. Just so good. So, anyway, that's going to be my dinner for tonight before, hopefully, Honda's chat is what it'll be then. But, anyway. Till later. I will see you guys on Friday for Freedom Friday, where we officially make our announcement who we're backing for the governor's race here in Ohio in 2026. And then we'll obviously do Slicey Boy Saturday. I got a couple other blades around here that I want to talk about. Specifically, I want to talk about a singular fixed blade that I found recently that was about $20, which I think is still about that price. That's actually a really good deal. And yeah, that's pretty much where we're going to be at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll see you all in the next one. Peace out. Stay safe. Stay vigilant. Always be carrying. Always be situationally aware. And at this point, I would say, honestly, with the way that violence is ramping up and stuff like that, it's probably a smart idea wherever you're living to get some bars for your doors. And by that, I mean Amazon has a bar for sale. You can either get a 1 or a 2-pack of them. And what it is that basically you can put it in either window. You can like put it in between like window tracks or like the tracks for sliding glass doors, or you can literally just put a different piece of thing on it and you just stick it right underneath your doorknob, and it basically stays there for people not to be able to get in. That's what it is. And yeah, it's an extra security measure to have at night when you're home, just so you know if somebody does want to try to break in your place or whatever, you can easily hit that in place and it'll be a deterrent anyway. Like, I'm not sure if it'll actually keep them out completely, but with the way that they set up is what it is. They will pretty much like go into the floor is what it is. So unless they would like bust through your floor somehow is what it is, by like trying to kick your door in or whatever, Like, I'm pretty sure it's going to stay in place for what it needs to like protect your ass. So yeah, I got that, and I got a couple other ones for Christmas time for myself the other day, and they're really nice. I think they're around $20 a piece or so, give or take. I think the 2-pack was a little bit cheaper though, but yeah, they're just really nice, and they're adjustable too, for that matter, for like different heights and stuff, whether it be for doors, whether it be for windows, whatever the case be that you want to put into. So it's definitely worth it as a security measure. Just with everything going on now, that you'd want to have something to protect yourself and your family and stuff like that. Especially if you have like a sliding window or a sliding glass door or something. It's a great thing to put in a track to where it would stop people from getting in then. But anyway, so I think I'll put up a link in the description for Freedom Friday. And yeah, obviously cameras are a good one too, but they're obviously more expensive than these bars are too, for that matter. But you should have both of what it is there. I do have both. Here's what it is. So, and I'm glad I do, obviously, because I was able to get dipshit dancing outside and know who the fuck stole my shit is what it was then. But anyway, yeah, my stomach is, like I said, growling pretty badly, so I'm going to go ahead and get something to eat now is what it is. And that'll be it for today's episode. And I will see you guys on Friday for Freedom Friday. Peace out, y'all. Later.